All right, welcome. Let's Talk Podcast. This is Let's Talk Podcast. Welcome back. I want to take some time to thank everyone who showed up to come to the show to show support, because together I believe that if we start off with conversation and communication, we can definitely learn each other's perspective, and hopefully we'll be able to help our communities. With that being said, my name is Christina. I'm your host. And the first thing I want to do is everyone who's checking the show out on YouTube, please hit that like and subscribe. It only takes a few seconds. Please hit that like and subscribe. I really need your support. I'm an up-and-coming podcast and a channel, and I cannot do it without you. I'm only 230 subscribers away from having 1,000 subscribers. I'm trying to reach 1,000 subscribers by the end of this month. I'm also shy of 2,000 watch hours, so please, you guys, check out the channel, check out some of the other videos, and hit that like and subscribe. Thank you. Also, check me out on Facebook. The page is Let's Talk Podcast. Make sure you follow the page so that anything that we have, any different shows that we do every Sunday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you'll keep up to date on the topics and the different conversations that we have. That page is blowing up. When I tell you them comments was on fire, they were on fire. People had a lot to say, and we're definitely going to get into those comments tonight because I want my panel to address some of the comments that came forward tonight. Also, if you want to be on the show, if you want to be on the platform, all you have to do is email me at letstalkpodcast55@gmail.com. All you got to do is send me an email with your information. I'll contact you, and I'll definitely love to have you on the show. If you have any topics that you want us to discuss that you feel are very important and is not getting enough attention, we would love to bring it on the show as well. With that being said, I want to take some time now to introduce our special guest. The first person we're going to start off with, we'll go in order. It'll be with Brother Ron. So, Brother Ron, you could take a few minutes and introduce yourself. Anything you want to share, any projects you're working on, we'd love to hear it.
All right, y'all can hear me?
Yes, you're heard.
You guys can hear me? All right, cool. Yeah, so I'm Ron. I got a YouTube as well. It's called Yeshua's Way. Definitely I can support that. I appreciate that. And I'm glad to be here. And based on the topic, I guess I can say I did grow up in a single family home from Miami, Florida. I grew up in Little Haiti, and as well as moved to North Miami Beach. So definitely grew up a little bit in the hood, so I could speak on that perspective as well as a young black man who has experienced that. So yeah, so we're ready for the conversation.
All right. Thank you. You guys check him out. It's Yeshua Always. That's his YouTube channel. He has a lot of great studies on there. You guys definitely check it out. Next up, we have Kevin J. You want to introduce yourself and anything you want to start off, any short introduction and comment you want to have on the topic, which is, can a woman raise a boy into a man's perspective?
Hey, can I be heard okay? Y'all hear me?
Yes, you can be heard.
I think it's certain spots in my house I'm kind of bad. You hear me?
Yep, you can be heard.
Cool. Again, my name is Kevin J. I don't have any projects or anything like that. I do conduct a very small Bible study every now and again on the Sabbath, but nothing big I'm working on. In terms of the topic, I was part of a single family home as well, me and my two brothers. So I can kind of speak on that as well. I'm from Chicago, so I do kind of know how it is to be raised by a single mom anyway. But I also have a son myself, so I could definitely offer a little bit to the topic as well. And I'm ready to get it started.
All right. I like that. Next up, Stanley. Floor is yours. Come on, introduce yourself. Let us know any projects you might have, and if you want to say any comments real quick about the topic of the day.
All right. Can I be heard?
Yes, you can. Loud and clear.
Praise God for that. Yes. Well, thank you once again, Sister Christina, for inviting me to your platform. It's definitely is something that I definitely want to continue to support because it's going to blow up, by the way. It's going to blow up. It's going to be big. And to be a part of the inception of it would be amazing to say, yes, I was one of them. Anyway. Well, I'm definitely glad I'm there with like the greats up there with Ron and Brother KJ. You know, they're amazing brothers. My name is Stanley Sylvain. You can look me up on Facebook or YouTube. I put out some information on scriptures and even controversial issues and things like that. If you guys want to look me up that way, or you can go on Clubhouse and look me up that way as well. I'm there. I love discussions. I love things like this. And I grew up in just like Brother Ron under Haitian descent. I'm Haitian descent. Brought up in a Haitian family. I grew up in the hood, Brooklyn. My father had lived in Little Haiti, so I definitely can relate to Miami, And to answer the question of the room, like, can a woman teach a boy to be a man? If we're speaking in situationally, of course you may find exceptions to the rule, but I believe the rule is that there's going to be things that the female definitely lacks because we're created differently. The woman is created in a completely specific manner to support whatever the man is doing. However, there are situations where widows have done amazing jobs with children. You know what I mean? But they still find a way to keep the male image in the home. There are men that went out to war, and the women had to be there with the kids. But for some reason, the kids came out pretty good because the male image was consistently being pushed on them up with the woman's voice. Hey, you better watch out because what would Daddy say if he would have seen that, Johnny? What would Daddy say? And because the Daddy come to find out that you've been saying certain things like that, I don't think Daddy would be happy. You're going to have to write a telegram to Daddy. You know what I mean? So that, as long as they keep pushing the idea that Daddy is the male figure of the home, whether he's visible or invisible, whether I'm in the home or not in the home, but you gotta put the spirit of the Daddy in that home, but not necessarily you taking the place of Daddy. And I believe that if that happens, I believe they can make it work. However, individually, generally, no, I do not believe that a woman has all the capabilities of what she can to teach a boy to be a man. Vice versa, a man does not have everything it takes for him to be able to raise a girl to be a woman in a proper manner, in the manner that society would deem appropriate. In general, specifically, you may find some little situations, but not in general. That's all I have to say about that.
All right. That was a lot. I'm gonna leave my comments to a minimum because I really just want to hear from the brothers. I want to hear what the guys say. We're gonna have a time for women to come up and definitely speak on the issue, but tonight it's all about the men. So with that being said, we're gonna get into some of these questions. A lot of the questions I've seen people were posting on Facebook. I mean, if you guys could have seen the comments that were coming in when I put this topic up, it was crazy. So we want to get into some of that and get some of these men perspective. So we're going to go to Ron, and then we'll do Kevin, and then we'll do Stanley. The question that's on the floor tonight is, because you guys grew up with your father not being around as much as you would like, or even a male figure as much as you would like, do you believe that it gave you trouble, or do you believe you had lack of experience when it came to dealing with the opposite sex? So when it was time for you to actually court a woman or get to know, do you feel that you were lacking in any way now that you're a grown man? Do you feel now looking back that you may have been lacking some things that you may have had or could have handled situations better if you would have had your father, in your life as much, different situations? But that would be the question on the floor. So Ron, you can take it up, and then Kevin and Stanley, you guys can go from there.
Well, as far as that question right there, dealing with the opposite sex, growing up, I would say Maybe I'll say yeah, probably yes. It was questions that I was uncomfortable asking my mother. You know, of course, she's a woman, and the feelings that I had towards the opposite sex, women, I was uncomfortable going to my mom about that and how she would feel, her looking at me as always looking at me as a young little boy or whatever, you know. So I would say it was uncomfortable. I would say I did want to get my question answered by a male. So I would talk to older guys that I knew, like my cousins and people like that. 'Cause you're more comfortable, of course, talking to a another man about those things and how they do it and how they talk to girls and how they approach girls and what to wear and what girls like and what they think, and you look at them like, you know, the coolest cat or whatever they're wearing, and you observe them or how they do things. 'Cause I can't observe my mom and she's not into girls, you know what I'm saying? So I can't observe my mom and see how she do that. So I definitely think a father, a male figure would have helped in that sense. So I'll just as far as that question, I'll just leave it at that for now.
All right, Kevin J, what you want to add to that?
Well, I think from coming from a single mother and you talking about relationships, right? Here's the thing. When you're raised by a single mom, okay, you actually do have an insight on how to deal with the female persuasion differently than your buddies who have both a male and a female raising him, or just a male raising him. So what I mean by that is there are certain responses that women look to have from men that if you're raised by a male only, they won't know what those are. They don't know the cues. I'll put it like that. So I think that I understood some of the cues that women put off because I was raised by a single female. If that makes, I hope that makes sense. I hope it's clear. There are certain things that, in other words, they're positive.
You guys can talk because I see somebody's going to say something. Y'all have a dialogue. I want to hear it. Like, let's go.
Yeah, you weren't muted, bro.
Yeah, is KJ, something happened to his mic?
Let me see.
Yeah, I think he probably muted himself or something.
I'm gonna check. Let me check right now. No, he's off the line altogether.
Oh, he dropped.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, he dropped. So he's gonna call back. When he calls back, we'll get into it. But Stanley, go ahead, jump in while we're waiting for Kevin to come back in. When he comes in, I'll set him up.
Yeah, not a problem. Well, from my experience, growing up, I was always a shy dude. You know, didn't know how to approach women, females in every situation. I did notice that there were other guys that were pretty confident, ugly as heck, but confident. They had no problem stepping up to women, and I'm like, dang, if I look like that, I definitely won't do it. But they had no problem. I'm like, how come I can't get that confidence? I didn't know that what was in me that stopped me from doing that. But, well, you know, looking back, now I have a son, and I'm teaching my son stuff. And I realize that sometimes when my wife thinks I'm going a little too hard, I'm realizing that she's looking at it from her perspective. And I see that my wife's mom is sort of soft like that with my son. And I'm like, and then I'm realizing what's that doing to him. He gets a little scornful for little things, you know, because me, I handle the garbage, you know what I'm saying? I put, like, if I have to, I'll put my hands in that garbage and push that thing down to make it space. He's like, what are you saying? No way. You know, and I'm like, bro, you a man. Put your hands in there. Wash your hands after that later, you know? So I think we need that tough, that strong, because he's the only guy after me. When I'm out of here, he's the only male here. He has two sisters. He has my mother-in-law. He has my wife. He's the only little man. He's 11 years old, but he's the only male figure there. And I'm like, you are not going to be just dancing around with them chicks. No. You're gonna take my place. You know what I mean?
Now I think I can understand what Kevin J was saying. Kevin J's back on the mic, by the way, so Kevin J, you can jump in as soon as I'm done.
He's back. KJ's back. Okay, cool.
Based off, he's back. I can see what Kevin J means now based off of what Stanley just said. Stanley said he has his mom, his auntie guy, his sister. He's basically, me and him is the only men basically in the house. So I can see what Kevin J is saying about he kind of had an idea of how the females can react and things like that. But the one thing no one react as far as like mom, but when we're talking about intimacy, we're talking about a relationship opening up with them. I want to know, when you were getting ready to date, did you feel like you were a little bit inadequate in that? Did you feel like there were things that you wanted to express, but you didn't have your father to do it, so you find yourself doing it with other people? Or do you feel like, nah, I think I was pretty good? So Kevin J, you got the floor. I got you on mute.
Is he still online? Is he muted?
He's not muted. He's unmuted, but check your line, Kevin J, because you're unmuted.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can
hear
hear
you
you
now,
now,
bro. Go ahead. Do your thing.
Man, I don't know. Satan is acting on my phone big time. I don't know what's going on. Okay. I can barely pick up everything you said. Sorry about that. I can barely pick up what you said.
No, I was just basically saying Stanley had pointed out some things about his dynamic in his home with him and his son, and then how it's, the sisters, the mama, the aunties, like, you have the female structure there, and basically it's just him and little man. So when he said that, it kind of made me, because at first I wasn't understanding what you were saying, because when I asked you the question, I said, okay, when it's time to be intimate, it's time for you to court a woman. Certain things that your father was not there to teach you, did you feel, looking back at it now, like, dang, maybe if my dad there, I could have knew about this, that, and the third. And when you point out that, well, I saw how my mom was, so that kind of helped me. At first I didn't get it, but then after what Stanley said, I kind of got what you were saying. So I kind of want you to just elaborate on that a little bit more.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know what Mother Stanley said, but I'm sure it was good. I'm sure it was good.
Go ahead, Stanley. Wrap up what you said real quick. Y'all have a dialogue. I want to hear from the president.
Let me give you a summary. Pretty much, Brother K. Pretty much, KJ. What I was saying was that I believe that a female they look at the world differently. So when they look at the male figure, and they're gonna generally base it on how they raised their female daughters, and then they may apply that same principles in such a way towards the daughters. So when I'm raising my son, my wife or my mother-in-law may think that I'm a little too hard on him. And I'm like, no, that's what he needs. This is exactly what he needs in order for him to be a man. When you want him to kill that spider, you want him to run with you? When that spider comes in the room, you want him to run away? I mean, I'm scared of spiders too, but but my fear, I can't show that fear to my female counterparts. They expect me. They expect me to come in and step in, even though I'm afraid. So he has to be able to do the same thing when I'm not around. I'm supposed to be hearing a phone call from my wife saying, hey, Sean killed that spider for us. Not Sean ran with us and hid from the spider. What the fuck? No, I wasn't running with you guys. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, I was just kind of saying that. Yeah. When we get scared, when men get scared, we run towards the danger for our women and children. But we don't run with y'all. It's like, nah, we're supposed to protect y'all. And I'm trying to put that in his mind early. I don't want him to be all screaming about touching things that may have little, oh no, I don't want to touch the garbage. Somebody ate at that. No, then you push that thing and you wash your hands later, bro. Just wash your hands, man. It'll be fine. But you gotta wash your hands, right? So you get it dirty, you wash your hands. You know what I'm saying? But you see, but females like, I don't know, Daddy, I can't. Oh, I'm afraid. Oh, but here's a beautiful situation. My son was scared of the dark. Like he had a strong fear on that. And I actually had to build him to it. I had to give him the logic. Think about it. If I turn on the lights, what's the difference if I shut it down? It's the same room. It's the same room. It's just one with light, one without light. What is going on in your mind to make you think that something else is happening in that dark? What's happening? It's the same room. So I had to teach him to walk in the dark and let him realize that it makes no difference whether the light is off, whether the light is on. It is the same room. Just don't be afraid. And then he just imagine coming. Well, I imagine somebody coming and grabbing me. I said, see, all that is in your head. You got to remove that. And then ultimately, he's not afraid of the dark anymore. I try to train that to my daughter, my little baby girl, my daughter. She ain't getting it. She's just not going to get it. No matter what you do. But this is what I learned. That's how I train my boys. The girls, my wife will train them differently. Maybe she'll always be afraid of the dark, but she needs her brother to back her up. So you got, if anything, Sean, go with you. Sean, go with her. She's scared of the dark. Go with her because she wants to go downstairs and get something, but she's afraid of the dark. You know what I mean? So I just rather do that. I don't want to be sitting there trying to train my little girls on that stuff, man. They may never get over that thing, man. But that's I get that and I accept that.
I'm still scared of the dark, and I'm on my porch, so.
See what I mean?
I turn my oven light on, the night light in the house. Don't judge me. Don't judge me. I want to point something out. I want to point something out you said, and I want to hear Kevin, Jay, and Ron's point of view on this. You said something, and this is going to come up later, but I think we need to bring it up. You said that I was scared of the spider, too, but it can't stop me. I still have to go and kill the spider. See, I understand this. It took me a long time. But I never understood what men go through as far as that is concerned. If men were to show that fear, I'm speaking as a woman, I would look at him as he's soft, he's weak, he's pathetic, he's making excuses. That's how I'm going to look at him. I'm just telling you, it's the truth. And it's sad. Because why can't a man be scared of a spider? Why does that make him weak? Why does that make him pathetic? But that is how I perceive it. And I believe a lot of women are like that. If men are emotional, we look at them as weak. When they're not emotional, but when they don't emotional, when we want them to, we feel like they don't care. And I feel like that's a struggle that men deal with that us women never can understand. So I want to hear from you men. Do you find that being something that you experienced in your lifetime? Is that something that you see that men do deal with and struggle with? Because I never thought about that until you brought it up about the spider.
Well, from my perspective, can y'all hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, cool. So, like, just going with the spider idea, right? So, Stanley, like, my son scares spiders right now, right? But when my mother was raising me, here's the difference right here. My mother would tell me, look, you are a boy, you're a male. You ain't supposed to be scared of spiders. Like, we would have it happen. I mean, you're supposed to, she'd tell me, you're supposed to kill the spider because you're a male. And she'd get to running. But she tells me I'm supposed to kill the spider, right? But here's the thing. If I don't kill the spider, I'm embarrassed because my mother's telling me to do it. And I'm like, if I don't do it, and my mother telling me to do it, she's scared of it, but she's telling me I'm supposed to do it. It's more embarrassing if I am scared of the spider. It's a very weird way of looking at it, but that's how I always perceived it. So when it happened, I'm like, okay, I'm scared of the spider too. But my mom told me I'm supposed to be, I'm a male and I'm supposed to kill the spider. So in her saying that if I run with her, I'm going to be more embarrassed running with her after she told and broke down to me, look, you are male, you're supposed to do this. And I think that's one of the differences. I would say as a whole, you have 10 women, right? And I'm going based off of the subject at hand. I'm about numbers when it comes down to that. I think that there are some women that can do it. I just think that there's a very low number. So let's say out of 10 women, maybe 2 women can raise a child to be a male, but it might not be done conditionally like we're thinking. Like for me, I'm having the wrestle more with my son, let them know, look, you ain't supposed to be scared of the spider. I tell him, hey, you're supposed to protect your girlfriend, right? He said, yeah, right? He said, the chest out. But see a spider, he running. And then, no, back up what I told you. If you dating your girlfriend, and y'all out, you're supposed to protect your girl, right? Yeah. But then, so you ain't supposed to run from a spider. Because you run from a spider, you don't run from somebody else, right? No. See, it's little things that are certain cues that we receive differently from a female than we do from a male too. Because from a male, it's a challenge, right? But from a female, it's embarrassment. And I don't know if anybody might feel that way, but that's just how I felt as a male child. Like I'm like, man, if I don't kill this spider, and my mom is scared of the spider, but she told me I'm a man, so I'm supposed to kill the spider. If I run with her, I'm gonna be embarrassed. So guess what? I killed the spider, and I was no longer scared of spiders from that point. I don't know if that makes sense to anybody else, but
what about
that's kind of how I look at it.
Ron? What do you think of that, Ron?
Well, as for me, no, when I grew up and knowing that there wasn't no man in the home, as a father or a stepfather, what I looked at as a male role model was people in my neighborhood, like what those guys was doing, who guys respected in my area where I lived at, you know, and I believe that's what boys, no matter how hard. What I'll say is, a lot of single mothers, they did the best they can. They do the best they can, but they cannot, raise a man to be a man. Of course, they can teach them great values like as in respect, be a good child. But, some men like me, I'm speaking for myself and, other people that I know, cause it's funny that this topic came up. I'm in my late 30s now, and I was speaking to, one of my friends I grew up with about this same topic, cause you know, we was like, cause it was his birthday, and was like, man, thank God we made it, man. A lot of our people we grew up with didn't make it. And we were talking how we made it, with our, a male role model, and that how we went through to the streets, and we were stupid for doing that, you know, but, you know, when you growing up and you don't have no father at home, you're going to look, a lot of people, that I'm sad to say, you're going to look at people in the neighborhood and you're going to look at what we did. We looked at the drug dealers, you know what I'm saying? We looked at people that, the streets respected, and it was stupid, you know what I'm saying? But that's just what it was, because people on the block respected those people. And, we seen men respected.
So why do
I think
young boys do that?
I think men want to be respected amongst men. You know what I'm saying? Men want to be respected amongst men. And when they see this man, like, who's probably not doing the best thing, and he got a whole bunch of men around him that's respecting him, we look at that like, man, this is a strong dude. Like, I want that. You know what I'm saying? I want that type of respect. You feel me? So, no matter how hard a mom or a mother tries, he's not going to look at her like she could teach me to be this man. He's going to look at that individual like that. And it is other great role models too, I would say. I know when I was growing up, a lot of schools did help out. They have 500 role models and stuff like that, but they can only do so much. Like, you learning that probably an hour, 2 hour, 3 times out of the week in school, that's not going to help when you're around people that's doing bad, and not teaching the wrong things, basically 24/7. When you leave school, you know you're around that 24/7.
All right. What do you think, Kevin J. Stanley? What do you got to say about that? About you growing up with your mom and you being a young boy and you're yearning. Do you feel like young boys are out there looking for someone to teach them to be a man instead of looking towards what their mother is teaching them?
I want to say something. If you don't mind, Kevin, I want to say something. This is something that came to my mind when Brother Kevin said that his mom was teaching him some values, right, about being a man and things like that. I realized it's one thing that a female can teach verbally, but children could only learn by watching. Now, I can tell a child, I can even write them a letter and tell them this is what you should do or shouldn't do. And they can hear me out, but it means nothing unless I'm actually there showing him how to do it.
Mm.
You see what I'm saying? So this is what the
I'm
male
thinking about
figure's
the spider
presence.
family. The spider.
Exactly.
You said that they would say they would run and say you don't be scared, but they run. So the kid is seeing you run, but they're being told not to be scared. But if they were able to see a man not being scared and killing the spider, they would probably learn from that better. Wow, that's a good point.
Or even add to adjust what you just last said, that he's still scared and he still goes towards the spider.
Yeah,
This is something that I've learned about the word bravery or being courageous. What does it really mean to be brave or be courageous? It's not that you're not afraid, but rather that you are afraid, but you still do it anyway.
Amen.
And that mindset, right? That mindset is the mindset that I want my son to have. I want my son to understand the idea of bravery. So when he says things like I'm scared as a cop-out to why he didn't do or did something, I'll tell him, so? It doesn't matter if you're scared.
You got to do it.
That's exactly what's needed in order for bravery to if you did something, let's say for instance, I tell you to go, if I tell you to tie your shoelace, right? And he ties his shoelace. I said, were you scared when you did that? He goes, no. Does that mean that you were brave? He goes, no. I said, exactly, because there's no fear factor in there. Bravery means nothing when there's no fear. In order for bravery to be bravery or courageous to be courageous, in order for that to exist, fear has to exist. Fear has to be present. And you have to overcome the mountain of fear in order for you to have the label of being brave or courageous. You gotta be tested. So seeing that spider is a test. Because you have the fear. Good, it works. But if you wasn't scared of spiders and you just started splatting spiders for fun, that's not bravery. It's just you have no fear. But when you are afraid and you do it anyway, now you can put a patch and sew a patch on bravery on your sweater. I say, yes, you are the symbol of bravery because you overcame the fear that was in front of you. You didn't run away from it, but you went towards it. You know what I mean?
Exactly. But Stanley, that was a perfect example of bravery because I never looked at it like that. So thank you for that. But I want to go back to your beginning point. You say you thought about something and you realized that you see verbally, and this is what I'm saying, Brother Ron. You say a mother, because I tell my sons, do that. But it's my husband that they're watching and they're seeing. And that's what they're copying off of, right? So if a boy is growing in the house with a mother and she's telling him this and telling him that, but he's not literally seeing it with his eyes, could that then cause these young boys to then end up seeking, which is the next question, did you ever find yourself being part of a gang or hanging out in the wrong crowd? And if so, was it due to the fact that you were lacking that male role model or that father figure or your father?
Yes. And in fact, that's what Ron was just alluding to, that a lot of our young boys today tend to be a part of a group, sometimes the culture of hip-hop. I didn't mean to do that, but I'm throwing that out there. A lot of times that replaced the father of the home because it provides that other figure to say, hey, this is what we do things. But however, we're not being led by good role models. In many cases, criminalization is being promoted in these kinds of cultures. It makes you look like you ain't afraid of the popo.
Yeah, I agree with that.
What you have to do. You know what I mean? So but if you had that male figure there and say, hey man, that doesn't make you a man. You know what makes you a man? That you could stay in the home and take care of your family. That you're still able to go out there and get that job and build your education up to be strong. And you don't want to go to school, but you do it anyway because it's what you have to do for your family. And then you realize, hey, I don't make enough money. Oh, but the drug dealing makes a lot of money. Woo! But it's easy money. That's the problem. But with the hard money will build you up and make you a better person because now you're going to get it into other areas like investing and in doing things like that and selling and getting other areas and getting a little hustle, but in a legal way in order for you to make that kind of money and bread that those drug dealers are making, but yours yours is legal, but they go to jail for theirs. But you are on point. But you're still a man because you were willing to put in the hard work. You were willing to climb the Mount Everest to make that money for your family. That's what it really means to be a man. You know what I'm saying? So you want to go the long route. Don't go look for the short route. That's not manly. That's not manly. That's actually it's just stupidity. It ain't even a female. It's not even a male or female. It's just stupidity. It's just looking for the easy way. In fact, here, it's laziness. That's what that is. Easy money is laziness. That's what that is. It ain't a man. It ain't a man to do it that way. But you see, again, I can say that in word. But it's another thing when a child can actually see that you about what you're talking about. Like, I'm telling you to do that, but I'm going to show you how to do that. I didn't tell my son to go through the dark and just go by my words. I was with him. I said, son, I'm going to be right here with you. If anything happens to you, I'm coming over there. Just go through the dark, go to the kitchen, go in there, and I want you to go in there and do whatever. I told him to do some stuff. I wanted to be in it. I said, need the lights off. He said, Daddy, I'm real scared. I know you're scared, but hey, I believe in you, Sean. There ain't nothing over there. Just keep walking. And you're going to realize it's all bull crap. There ain't nothing in the dark. Just get in there and trust me. Just go. And when he made it, I said, man, you a man now. You a man. You just earned a stripe of being a man. You just conquered your fear, Sean. You walked out there in that dark and you were scared as heck, but you kept going. That's what it means to be a man. Right there. You know, and I was pushing her to do that. My wife can't do that. My wife ain't gonna do that. My wife's gonna turn on the light for him. My wife's gonna go there with him. I'm like, no, you need to use these opportunities, man. So now to transfer it to talking to females, I realized also that I didn't have that male figure to run to when I saw a girl that I liked in high school, like to talk to and to walk me through things. Like, why do I feel the way I feel? And I didn't have that. My grandfather was stoic. He was the only guy in the house, but he didn't give a crap about having relationships. He didn't care about that stuff. He just was always mean and stuff and just beating people just because you exist. He was just crazy. But so I didn't have that male figure. And then I did have an uncle, but my uncle was more of and I hate to say that about you. I love you if you ever hear this. He was kind of a womanizer. You know what I mean? Right now he's getting into himself, and now he's a great man now. But at the time when he was younger, he was like a womanizer. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't learn from that either.
Yeah, my dad.
So I'm being everything. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Sister Christina.
My sorry to cut you off. My dad, when you said that, my father was like that. He was a womanizer. He used to line me and my sister and my mom up because it was 6 boys and my dad. So it was 7 people in the house that were males, and it was me, my sister, and mom. He would line us up and he would tell us that a woman is not to speak unless she's spoken to. She's not to ever have an opinion or thought. All she's ever supposed to do is whatever her husband tells her at all times, no matter what. Like, that's what my dad would tell me, my sister, and my mom. And he would, say it over and over again, every other day, over and over, every other day, like he was programming us to think that, So when I went into the world as a woman, I'm thinking, okay, whatever the man says is right, and that's extremely dangerous, especially if you're submitting yourself to a worldly man. That can be extremely, extremely dangerous. So you're right about when you were talking about the male figures that you have. When you look at statistics, it says that 70 to 85% of men that are in our prison system right now doing hard time, we're talking 15, 20 years, they come from the father being absent. Do you think that's just a coincidence that these men that are committing these violent crimes, we're talking about murder, rape, things of this nature. I should say grape because it's going to be on YouTube. Murder, now you shouldn't say murder, but you see grape and all these violent crimes.
Yeah, definitely. But I know I spoke too much. Somebody else can jump in, but the statistics definitely show, yes, that families that's being raised by single mother households will more likely lean towards those kind of violent issues. And and mental issues and all those crimes, most criminals and that are, when we see degenerate situations, are based on are raised by single mothers. Unfortunately, that the male image is very important in having a great society, because they said they even compared statistically how a single father would raise as opposed to a single mother, and the numbers are still a lot better towards the single father raising children, because technically we're disciplinarians as opposed to the female, and the female are more of a, they know how to make, emotionally apply the emotional standard in the home, and make sure they bring in the comfort, and they have more verbal discipline as opposed to more disciplinarian examples, and make sure that they policing at a very strong manner on a general basis, not on a, there are anecdotal exceptions to the rule, of course. But especially in these situations, sometimes the female would have to come out of her femininity to become masculine in order for her to do something like that, and that's not easy for her.
Well, that makes sense, because if the male is, the majority of males in the home plays the disciplinary role, if I'm a child and I'm not receiving that disciplinary role like I should be, then yeah, it makes sense. I'm going to go out there in the world and I'm going to do things not expecting to have any type of repercussions for my actions. But that being said, I want to hear from Kevin J. what you think about that, the rate of a lot of these prison inmates are coming from absent fathers' homes. Then I want to hear from Ron. After that, I want everybody in this room. We got a lot of people in here tonight. Y'all need to hit *5. Once we hear from Kevin J. and Ron, I want to hear some of you guys' questions and comments. You guys can ask these brothers whatever you want to ask. If you disagree, if you agree, whatever, hit *5. Raise them hands. So let me hear from Kevin J., Ron, and then we're going to get into some of the questions on the floor.
Okay, so, cool. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
I always got to check first. You never know. I'm with my phone right now. But anyway, yeah, I definitely agree with Brother Stanley in terms of that rate. I think that with the male figure in the home, there is a different type of fear with the male child towards his father than the fear with the male child towards his mom. What I mean by that is the amount of strength. Like a kid can feel the difference between his mother snatching him up and his dad snatching him up with that voice tone, you know what I'm saying? And that look, right? Now, I didn't have a lot of that, but I understand the difference between the two. So like with a male child, especially a black male child, the black male child knows that his mom's going to probably spank him real good. But she's going to give him that little love too, right? Whereas the male child, and he looks at the father, he's going to spank, he's going to sit you in the corner, you're going to hear nothing from him. It gives that male child a different type of hurt, right? But it also establishes that same type of fear. So when you're looking at a kid, a male child, and he's like his mom is like, look, even though the mother may whoop that child or spank him or whatever, I know it's got to be PC, I guess. But I mean, basically, for my time, you used to get our butt whooped, toe up. All right. So my mom would tell me up too. But I didn't have the option all the time of being like, well, you know what? You're fine to get home. No. My mother had to play both roles. It was for me, I was even at a point as I got older and I became like an older adult, 21, 22. I used to give my mother a Father's Day card and a Mother's Day card because she had to play both roles, literally. So there was times, and she had 3 boys. There was times where she had to literally punch us, hit us with stuff. It don't sound real good right now. Just be honest with you though. That was, she had to recover from the fear of just being a mom who cuddled and loved him. She had to stop doing that. She had to kind of like readjust herself on how you raise your boys. Now you got the prison system filled with brothers like that because they didn't have that, and their mothers did not know quite how to adjust their role with their sons. That's why I say I always look at numbers. There are a very small number of women that can possibly raise a child, without a male figure. But it's just very, very, very small. It's very small. But me and my three brothers, we all turn out okay. None of us is doing jail time. You know what I'm saying? We ain't no weirdos. We turn out okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, all of us holding down jobs. We all taking care of our family. You know what I'm saying? We all turn out to be very good men, all three of us. None of us, fail to the system. But again, a very small number of that. That number is very minute. That's why I can agree with Stanley, big time, But in the same token, now like back in my day, I mean I'm older, I'm in my 40s. Like my mom was fearful. Like my mom, my older brother who was 6 years older than me. Now I lived in the south side of Chicago. So that was GD's disciples and stuff like that. And he had got, like jumped. My mother had 2 butcher knives in her trench coat. And she marched him down there. I'll never forget as long as I'm there. She marched him down here, and he pulled out the person and started to fight with him. And she made him fight him. And she had butcher knives in her coat. Every gangster was scared of my mother. But this is before people shoot people up at the rate they do it now. But what I'm saying is, not too many moms is going to do that. She marched my brother right back down in his bloody nose and made him fight the person that fought him. Now, this is on the south side. Okay? So, but I don't think every mom is built like my mom either, though. See what I'm saying? Like, my mother was different. She wasn't your normal mom. But that also, again, plays into the what type of woman are you trying to raise a single black male? But that's my outlook on it. You're going to see a high rate of black males in there that are from single moms because they're trying to work. They're trying to be a mother to you, which is that's their natural job to do. But then they have to play the other role. And to that other role, I can't put it all on a female because they're working already. They know how to be a mom, but then they have to put it on this other role. Now for me, if I had a father in the crib and I did something wrong, my mother spanked me, whatever, like, yeah, whatever. My kid's like, man, that ain't nothing. But then you mention your dad, that man's strength and that man's tone, you're like, hey, hold on, wait a minute. You're going to think twice about that as a kid. You're like, wait a minute. I know my mom probably wouldn't hurt me. But old boy, the way he snatched me up last time, he almost snatched my whole arm off. That's how you think as a little kid. So that's the difference. And that's why, I do agree with Steph. Definitely. But that's my piece.
All right. What about you, Ron? What you want to add to the conversation before we get to?
I would say it's not surprising at all that males that I grew up in single family homes, specifically single mother homes, are locked up more because no matter how hard a woman may try, like they may say, oh, I want you to be a young man like Barack Obama or this, that. Especially if you're growing up in like probably not the best neighborhood. He's gonna look at other males. He's not gonna look at his mom is not a male. He's gonna look at other males around him. You know what I'm saying? As that role model. Because he's clearly see you don't have the equipment that a male has. So I'm not surprised at all. I don't think it should be surprising to anybody. This is a lot of the reasons why I believe you see men joining gangs and stuff like that. And then Stanley brought up a great point. And it's sad to say in our black community, in our music and all that, and we just gotta agree. I know a lot of people might not like this, but we glorify criminalization too much. Like in our music and all that. And I know it's not all of the music, but a lot of it is. It's glorification of it. And then these young men looking at this like, okay, this is what it is to be a man, and it's not so. And that's why, like, you see Stanley saying how he gives his child, his son, these lessons. This is what's needed in the home. Like, these fathers that giving these lessons, these fathers that saying, look, you see these people, they saying this is cool to do this is cool to scam, this is cool to do. It's not. His father could tell him, like, man, I don't want to see you in jail. I don't want to see you going in on the footsteps your friend is going. And I don't want you hanging around that that boy anymore. You know what I'm saying? Of course, a mother could do that too, but you know, I'm just saying that when you see a man, like let's say a son seeing a man working in 9 to 5, whatever it may be, he's gonna have a different type of respect for a man that's doing that job, and instead of looking at that drug dealer, he's gonna look at him like, you know what, my father did what he had to do no matter what, and he ain't had to go that route, as in trying to rob somebody or do this and do that. You know what I'm saying? Well, that's my take on that.
All right. This is getting good. I'm enjoying the conversation here from these brothers. Listen, everyone on YouTube, hit that like and subscribe. Check it out. Let's Talk Podcast. Like, subscribe. It only takes 2 seconds. Come on now, like, subscribe. With that being said, I got a lot of people on the floor. Come on, you guys. Hit that *5. *5. Even if you just want to leave a comment. *5. Ask these brothers some questions. They said a lot of things that I'm saying. Look, based on the numbers, there's a lot of women on the line too. Y'all want to ask these brothers some questions? This is your opportunity. *5. With that being said, I got one hand raised up. The number is 650-65044. 65044. What do you got to say? Add to the conversation. Let's hear it.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Oh, hi there. My name's Charles, and I just wanted to share. I appreciate you giving me the opportunity. I just wanted to say that the highest calling for human beings is to be parents, and you have to be prepared for that. And so what does that take? The irony of the human condition is that men and women are ready to be parents or to partner with somebody when they're ready to be alone all their life, not before. And so when two people that are prepared to be parents meet, they are living life in the healing lane. Most of us become parents in the trauma lane. Nothing happens in the trauma lane. It's just trauma. And you're either causing harm to yourself or to others. But when you become a parent and you're prepared for it, you're both ready to be parents. It doesn't matter. Each one of you is perfectly capable to raise the children alone if nature takes one of you away. But if you're in the trauma lane, I don't think anything good comes out of it. So we have to be prepared to become parents. We prepare ourselves when we're ready, when we get to a point where you can say, you know what, I can live by myself for the rest of my life. Because I have seen aunties raise their children and unfortunately raise their grandchildren because they lost their children to a disease, and they raised those children properly. But I saw that these people were ready to be parents. They lost their husbands, they were widows, raised their children themselves, men and women, and then raised their grandchildren properly, who are boys and women who are positive contributors to society. And that's where I got this frame of reference that, oh my God, there is a God. My aunt is a spiritual person, and she was ready to become a mother. That's why when she lost her husband, she raised her children, boys and girls, alone. And when she lost her children, she raised her grandchildren successfully. Because
Okay, so this what I want to interject, but I want to make sure I understand what you're saying. So what you're saying is that as long as the person is ready to be a parent, they can successfully raise a boy, whether it's a female or male, they can successfully raise a boy into a male as long as they're ready to be a parent. But if they're trauma or they have things that they're dealing with and issues, it doesn't matter either way, they won't be able to successfully raise a boy to a man. Is that what you're saying?
that's what I'm saying.
Okay, so let me I want to hear some of the comments, some of the takes on this. Stanley, you want to say something about that? You agree, disagree? You want to say anything on that?
Oh, well, I think that thought process is like the spiritual aspect of it, which is, you can't go wrong with God, right? At the end of the day, you can't go wrong with God. But when we're looking at it from the practicals, which is a different category, when we look at it from a practical perspective, the male figure still holds a very vital role, even though they're not even in the Lord. They can still provide that particular example in a manner where a child can be able to be effective in society. I mean, we have people that are atheistic that are doing amazing jobs with the mother and the father being in the home because they have those things in place, which I believe technically what God has set in place. They're only following his system. But miracles exist. You know, I'm not saying that miracles exist. Of course, a woman can do it too, as long as she's really in the Lord. And she definitely can do it. There were widows in the Bible that were very successful. You know what I mean? So I believe it. I do believe in miracles. Yes.
What about you, Kevin? Jay, you want to add anything about him saying that it doesn't matter? It doesn't have to be a father in the home, as long as that mother is ready to be a parent and she doesn't have trauma, she can raise that boy into a man. Or not raise him into a man. She can raise, but teach him. That's the key. Teach him to be a man.
Right. I definitely agree with it to a certain extent. I think that child is still going to miss some things, though. And I'm speaking from someone who was raised from a single mother. My mom did a great job, but it wasn't a lot of mothers like mine, right? So most of my friends were scared of my mom. They literally. I'm talking about my male friends. My male friends were literally scared of my mom. That's the type of mother she was. So I think I had a great mother that was different. But I still miss some things as a male. And see, I didn't know that I missed certain things until I ran into other males who were raised by a male, right? So I started to meet other kids. I played football and wrestled, you know what I'm saying? And then I was doing martial arts stuff. Like the way their minds was wired. When you're in combat or when you're facing certain adversity, I didn't face the adversity the same way as the boys that was raised by their father. Now, I learned quick, though. Again, I'm from the South Side. So I'm saying you learn quick. But I was missing certain things and elements that a child, kind of like what Ron was saying, like you look to another male to have a certain perspective versus a female. However, my mom was gangster, but my mom was still not a male. You feel what I'm saying? So like, while my mom was gangster, my mom used to hit us with, shit, man, look, if I piss on my mom, I could almost count on an iron coming. Not a house shoe, an iron. Because she felt like she had to be that much tougher. She had to be that much tougher on us because we were three boys. So she was throwing some physical stuff. I know house shoe. The house shoe was first. But as we got older, other things started flying at us. The point I'm making is, yes, I think that that's true, but I would disagree with that, brother, only because I still realize as a man growing up, I missed certain elements that a man is supposed to have. Mainly, like Ron said, and you know, I said it too, you kind of watch other males, how they get out in certain situations, right? We don't see that with a female. My mother can only explain to me, hey, you're a male, you're supposed to XYZ this, right? So I would only act out of aggression and attack her point because I would feel X way if I didn't do it because she's my mom, right? But a male leading you, you're going to pick up on male cues better. That's I hope I made sense, but that's kind of how I disagree with the brother in a way because we have to have those male cues. I didn't pick up on male cues later. So I had like coaches, my wrestling coaches, and my football coaches, and my track coaches. You know what I'm saying? They had to kind of like show me those male cues that I was missing when it came down to like competing. And competing is a very big thing in the male mind. Whether you're competing for a woman's love, or whether you're competing for a job, or whether you're competing in athletics. Things measure up to be competing for a male. So if you don't have the proper line a wire in your head for that, it can throw you off. I would say that. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. You were just basically what I heard is you're showing balance. You're basically saying that yes, my mom did this, but there's something missing. So we know that there's a balance when it comes to raising children, which goes back to what Stanley said, how you have atheists that are doing an amazing job and they have a mother and father in the home. Secondly, we know that the prison rate for violent crimes are extremely high. Almost 80% are coming from absent fathers. So this idea that we're going to believe that all those prisoners' parents just weren't ready to be parents, and that is no coincidence that maybe they were ready to be parents, but that child just was looking in the wrong places for how to become a man because they didn't have
Right.
that proper role model. We have another hand raised up. So Ron, you want to say anything about this topic real briefly, and then we're going to go to the next caller.
Well, I'll say as far as him saying being ready, I would say yeah, we should be ready as far as not just being quick to lay down with somebody and just have a child and realize a lot comes with that, you know. Realizing that you might be a single mother, or you might be a single father, or you will be raising that child at a disadvantage. So I would say as far as him saying that part, yeah, I definitely understand and agree with that.
Okay, so we're going to go to our next caller. The number is 650. Oh, no, we already went to him. The next caller is 786-862. 786-862. You're on the line.
Hi, good evening, everyone. So I heard everything that you said, and I completely agree with, every single one of you. But my question is, sometimes I think situations like that is inevitable when somebody is born in a single-parent household. But what do you think that child would need in order to prosper and grow, despite that father being there and have them being born in a single-family household where they're being raised by a mother? I know that you guys mentioned 500 role models, but what could be done more from that mother to make sure that her child grows up where he doesn't end up in the system?
Mm-hmm.
All
Can I
right.
try that? Can I attack that?
Stanley, you can go, Stanley. Then we'll hear from Ron, then Kevin J.
Okay, I'll be quick. My sister, that's a great question. Because there are circumstances that you just can't control. You know what I mean? I have friends right now that are in that situation, and family too. But in cases like that, then get a pastor, get a brother in the Lord. If you see anybody, or even programs, there are programs you can sign your kids into. Like there are like those martial arts programs or self-defense programs or even athletic programs where there's coaches but they have these male role models. There's always these advantages. Make use of all those things around you. These are sacrifices and investings that the female will do just to get that male figure in the home. Or not even in the home, but in the life of the child. You know what I mean? So it doesn't mean that we have to just go be promiscuous and just look for some dudes just to be in the house. No. But rather just, family members, uncles, grandfathers, that you respect and honor, or brothers in the faith that you respect and honor, that they could just have, small conversations or even visits or things like that where you can just be in that child's life. There's a lot of them that are out there that are doing it right. There are families that are, even a child's friend may have a good father role model there. And that role model of that child's friend can also be a good role model for your child for a female child that's single as well. And when they have these kinds of examples, you better believe it. Chances are that child will get it right, even being raised by a single mother.
Okay, Ron, you want to speak on that sister's question? She wants to know, for children that are being grown up in the household with a single parent, what do we do now? What are some solutions?
Well, I'll say the best solution is first is try to avoid it by being responsible and not just getting. And I'm speaking for people that before they even get to that point that they should try to avoid that, not just laying down with anybody knowing that you could get pregnant and have a child and end up breaking up and raising that child in a disadvantage. But if you do find yourself in that and you already have a young man growing in, I think the best thing to do is start it off young, like basically keep him busy, keep him around, respectable men, and most importantly, I would say pray about it. Ask God to help you and keep, righteous men around that, your son, your boys or your girls or whatever, that may be so they can see figure, a good male figure. But I would say also, be careful because sometimes a lot of people prey on single women. Believe it or not, they may not know. They'll prey on single women with children and they'll try to molest that child or whatever. And I know statistics are high in that regard too. I believe I was looking at that as far as people single parent homes with children. Pedophiles prey on that. So women got to be extra careful on, you may think, okay, because this man's in the church or because this man in that, you got to be like extra careful. That's why I say, man, pray first. Pray first. Vet the people that you're going to have around this child. The more you keep them busy, the less they'll look into the streets. Like keep them in sports, keep them in activities. I think that would help out a lot. And if you know like your uncles or brothers that can, you talk to them, be like, look, man, I know I have my own child and this is that, but if you can help me, play basketball with him or whatever and talk to him, do that. And I'm pretty sure your family members will have no problem in doing that, especially if you see that family member as a good male role model.
All right, good points. Kevin, what you got to say on that about the sister question about children that are in single-parent household, mothers out there that are listening right now on Facebook, YouTube. Y'all like and subscribe, by the way. Come on, hit that like. Help a sister out. What do you say about those mothers that are like, okay, you're right. I could teach him morals and values, but as far as being a man, he's going to look for men to do that. What are some solutions for her?
First off, praise God for what Brother Ron said. I totally agree. And again, I'm only going off of my personal experience, so it might not sound right to everyone. I want to be upfront with that. But what my mother did on the South Side, she found it was called, at the time, it was called the Paul Hall Boys Club. And what she tried to do was put us into those things, again, relating right to what Ron just said. What you could do is distract them with other things. And distraction for me was sports. Distraction for me was doing things like that. And see, when you're playing sports, especially males, there's going to be other males coaching your kids. So, but in Chicago, we didn't have access to like all of the stuff that had, like, we got out of the South Side and went to like a top suburb, luckily. And then I was able to, because I was good at sports, my mother had me in sports, and then those coaches helped me. But before I moved to the south suburb from the South Side, she had me in a boys club. And the boys club had several different people there. You know what I'm saying? Like I could connect with. It wasn't just her at that point anymore. It was other people being involved. You know, they're like a lot of those cats, man, they were trying to figure out what I like. Hey, you know, like you like this, you like that. They were trying to figure out what I could do. And then that little conversation in itself helped divert me from looking at people in my neighborhood as some type of whatever. So like, well, my mom, and again, this is about the mom too. She didn't like the people in my neighborhood. The people in my neighborhood that I would normally look up to, like the drug dealers, she was like, she couldn't stand them. She had nothing but a sour word for them. And they literally were scared to talk to me, and I was scared to talk to them because of her. That's the type of mom I had. But again, this is not the typical mom. But in essence, putting your kid, finding out, talking to your child, let's figure out what he likes to do. Okay, now, For me, jujitsu, martial arts, stuff like that, if other kids see other kids doing that, they're going to want to do it because other kids are doing it. So like in this day and time, I always say put the kids in jiu-jitsu. They learn how to defend themselves, and a lot of those instructors, they are very good men. They are very good men. They teach you self-control. They teach you discipline. So discipline goes hand in hand with learning a martial art, specifically jiu-jitsu, right? So I like that because I went to mixed martial arts gym, and man, the kid program, and like when I was in Illinois, the kid program that was the best program because all the parents took their kids there. It was like 40 kids in class, and the thing is, when you watch them get out with the males that were single parent, like I would be in the stands watching, and I would be talking to some of these mothers, and she was like, man, I did not know what to do with my kids until I brought them here. Now, I don't like jiu-jitsu. I don't like that stuff. But the instructors, they tap into what my son likes because they're males too. See, like a lot of times it's talking to your kid. What does he like to do? Does he like to play basketball? Cool. Does he like to play football? Cool. But martial arts and stuff like that, that was big for me because it distracted me from the street, and those instructors, they a lot of times a kid, a male child that does not have a male figure, they want a male figure to be interested in them. They come from their mom. They're always interested. But sometimes a male child wants a male figure to be interested in them and to show them. Male kids are looking to be shown something. That's the natural way. That goes all the way back to the Bible. Jacob and his sons, all of that. That goes all the way back in the Bible. So a lot of times you got to tap into what your kid wants and what he likes because they're looking to be instructed by another male. It's nothing against the female. That's just the natural course of things. But that's all I got on that.
All right, sister. So, sister, was your question answered? Was your question answered?
Yes, and thank you, for providing that insight and information. Because there are a lot of programs. Like I'm familiar with like the mental health field and trying to make an impact in the community. There's programs such as Transition to Independence Process, Big Brothers Big Sister, the POW program with the police department, and 500 role models. But there's not a lot of Black males that are taking on these positions to then help these youth. When you try to match a youth, let's just say like a 14-year-old boy with like a Black male, it's sometimes hard because they're not willing to, take on these positions to then help the youth. Then how do we go about, increasing the capacity, especially the work capacity, then to help these young boys in our community? That's the struggle.
All right, jump in, one of you guys. Don't be quiet now. You heard it, sister? Stanley, Ron, you guys there?
Well, I'll say everybody's situation would be different, of course, and I'll say, man, just do the best you can. And I'm pretty sure all of us got cousins and we got brothers, we got uncles. I'm pretty sure somebody definitely won't have will have some time and some words to encourage, even if it's just a little bit. And in certain situations, all we can do is do the best we can. That's why I always say, and I know it sounds cliche, but it does help, and I do believe in the power of prayer. That's when prayer come in and ask the Most High to definitely intervene in that child's life, that whether male or female. Of course, we're talking about males now. So they don't go the wrong direction. So definitely do the best you can, and that's why I pray one day, man, we just become more community driven. Like we willing to look at another Black man and be like, you know what, man, I want to help you with this, and I want to help you with that. And as we get stronger in that regard, as we like for instance, I definitely respect a lot of the Mexicans that I see around me. Sad to say, man, they really more community driven than us. I think we lost that. I don't know when, but we lost that. And the more we get into that, like as in helping, looking at another man like our brother, even though we don't know him, you know what I'm saying? And just walking in the store and we can see another brother and be like, yeah, what's up? Or, you know what I'm saying? Without worrying that he gonna mean mug me or something like that. When we start getting to that, I think, it will definitely change us, the way we look at each other. It will definitely, change the crime rate amongst each other, you know, the black on black crime and all that. So I'll say, man, just do the best you can. Just pray, ask a family member, and some regard, that's all you can do.
All right, all right. So now, does anyone else have a question? If your question was answered, you can hit star 5 to take your hand down. If you have any more questions, this is your chance now. I see a lot of people on the floor. You guys have any questions, or even if you have a comment, it's star 5. I don't see any hands come up. What we're going to do now is we're going to get ready to go into closing statements. But before closing statements, there were a few comments that was left on the Facebook page. Let's Talk Podcast, by the way. Let's Talk Podcast. Follow, like the page, support, please. We are really trying to make a difference, and we're starting off with communication, learning each other's perspective, and coming up with great solutions, which the sister brought a great question, and the brothers were really bringing it in, some solutions that we can use. So people out there on YouTube right now, like, subscribe. You guys, hey, these are some solutions that we need to do in our community and for our people. Even like what the sister was saying, that it's hard to match up these young boys. So maybe some of these brothers out there that's listening, maybe you guys need to start up programs or get involved with some of these programs so that we can start helping our communities. With that being said, I'm going to start with Stanley. Are you still there? I got someone that put something on the Facebook page, and I want to hear your perspective on it. So are you still with us, Stanley? All right, so then we'll go to Kevin. Are you still there, Kevin?
Yes, I am here. You hear me?
Right, so we're just going to answer a few questions on the Facebook page because I told them that I would do that. So anyone that wasn't able to be here, they had said some things on the Facebook page, some comments, some questions. So I'm going to read this comment, and I want to hear your answer. So the sister wrote concerning, can a woman teach a boy to be a man? Can a woman teach a boy to be a man? She put yes. If she knows what a man is and what kind of man she wants, that's a strong, straightforward point. Yes, she can raise a boy to a man. What are your takes on that?
I would say this. First of all, it depends on the person, because as I told you, I had a mother that really wasn't the ideal woman, right? I also told you earlier that my mother gave me cues on women and how to deal with women based on her being a woman. So it really just depends. Now, there's part of me that disagrees with the sister in this. When you're trying to teach a male how to be a male, like let's say versus a male, like you have that you have two males in the room, and you know when you do alpha males. I don't think that she could teach her son how to deal with that. I think she could teach her son how to deal with how to be a good male and deal with a good woman. She could do that. But when it comes down to mano a mano, when it comes down to male versus male, and how the male deals with another male, that might be where she falls short. That's just my opinion. But again, I am product of a single mother, right? And I feel she did a great job on how to mold me to be a better father, and also how to. I'm definitely not the perfect husband, believe me. But I think she did a good job in molding me to the point where I know how to be a better husband. I know how to go about my household. I know that I have to take care of my household. I had to help my mom when I was 13 because she didn't have nobody there. She needed more income. I had to start working early, right? Those type of things are like installed into a male. The only part I would disagree with is when a male is dealing with another male, eye to eye, okay, man to man. That would be the only part I would say she would probably need assistance with, because I don't think a female can do that particular part. I had to learn that through coaches and in sports. It's a different world. And women don't know that world. Like we don't know y'all world. She doesn't know that world. It's different when you're going mano a mano with another male. I would say that. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Thank you for answering that for us. We're going to go to one more question, and then we're going to get to our closing statements.
Can I tackle that for a second too?
You want to respond to that?
Yeah. I'm so sorry about that. I was not in a position to respond. I was serving my family with their food. I was giving everybody their food when you were calling. I was like, I can't say nothing, but
that's okay. Do you remember?
I'll be fast.
Read it, or you know what it was?
Yeah, I know exactly what it was. Yeah, she said she emphatically said yes to the question of the topic. And again, the focus is not, are we talking about possibilities? Of course, anything's possible, through Christ, right? Everything, like through Christ, all things are possible. I'm never going to get rid of miracles. Exceptions do exist, you know what I mean? But we're talking from a general rule. In a general rule, it's a no. In a possible exception, anecdotal rule, like the Brother Kevin situation, then it's a yes. But yet, even in the yes, everybody would have to admit women and men are different creatures. And because they're different creatures, she will lack in something, like Brother Kevin was stating, in providing what a male inherently can provide. That's all.
All right, Ron, you want to briefly hit on that, and then I'm going to go to one more question on the Facebook page.
Okay, I'm gonna keep it short, but no, 100% no. And because just like what Kevin said, he brought up a great point. A woman can't teach a man how to deal with other men, because you're gonna look at it from your perspective. You're not gonna look at it from a perspective of a man dealing with another man or a boy dealing with another boy. You're not gonna know how to. You're gonna handle it the best way you know, but you're not gonna handle it. Let's say you have to handle it a way as a man should handle it. You're not gonna be able to do that. You don't understand the mind of a man. You don't understand how men deal with each other, and that's okay. That's okay. We was made different, and that's fine, So I'll just leave it at that.
Okay. This young lady, this question I thought was interesting, because what this young lady did it wasn't a question, it's a comment. What she did was she associated teaching a boy to be a man to morals and honesty and being a good person. So I'm going to read it, and you'll see what I mean, and then I want to hear what you guys think about it. So the statement is, can a woman teach a boy to be a man? And she says yes. A woman can raise a boy on how to be a good person, good morals, and honesty. So she's equating being a boy being a man to having good morals, being a good person, and being honest. What do you guys say about that? Let me hear from Stanley, and then we'll go to Ron and then Kevin.
What she had stated there, that is genderless. That crosses gender. It has nothing to do with gender. It's just, as long as you are a person or an hermaphrodite, it doesn't really matter. Whether you're male or female, you can be an individual. Yeah, if they're raising that means you raise them to be a good person. But when you say man, you're specifically focusing on things that only focuses on the male gender and their roles in society. The question is, can a woman raise up a boy to be an effective male role, being effective, have an effective male role in society? But what she stated there was just as a general human. Everybody has to have it, women and men. Yeah, that's all I want to say.
All right, Ron?
I agree with. I second on what Stanley just said. I agree.
Hey, Kevin, what you got to say about that? He says, yeah, we can raise a boy to a man. You just got to teach him to be have good morals, a good person, and be honest.
Yeah, man, this is why I love Brother Stanley, because he takes everything you're gonna say, and you ain't got to say nothing else. It's
Yeah, I
absolutely
know. I know,
correct.
right?
This is always happening. It's always happening with
Yeah,
Sam. I'm sorry.
hey, that's why that brother's one of my teachers. Let me tell you something. I agree with Stanley because when you're teaching somebody something, morals, right? Morals is one thing, and morals I think that we all have a lot of. That's cool. That's cool. But see, what entangles morals is situations, right? So if you have a male child and he has good morals, but that male child does not know how to deal with other males, he could very easily be in jail. Why do I say that? He could wind up killing another male because he doesn't simply know how to deal with another male without using violence, without using a part of his brain that doesn't operate in that manner. See, like Ron said too, males know how to deal with males. Females know how to deal with females, right? It would be like if you reverse it, right? Think about it for a second, Chris. If you let's reverse it, can a male teach a female how to be a female? I already know what most women's gonna say without
Heck
even
no.
without even getting out for a question now. See what I'm
Nah, you
saying?
can't. You can't do it. You
Right.
know how many times I have to talk to my husband? Like, he'll do something, I got to bring him to the side. Okay, babe, she's a girl. So I'm going to need you. I'm going to need you to go do that over. And he's like, okay, babe, give me a minute. He got to get himself together, and then he got to go back. And then he'll come back and say, I don't know what I'll do without you. And then sometimes he has to come
Right.
to me and
Exactly.
say, he's a man. Move out the way. What are you doing? And I'm like, but that's my baby. So, yeah, true.
Right. You see what I'm saying? So like, I understand what the sister. I think part of what the sister's saying is that she can teach her son how to be a good human being. I believe that. You're not wrong. But what you can't teach your son is you can't teach your son the reaction. You can only teach your son morals. But how do you deal with how do your son react to certain situations as a male is mainly what we're talking about. That's why I would have to do with I would have to do with them because I could be a great ethically moral person. There's a lot of great moral ethic atheists, right? They're great morally. Like I mean, they might go out and commit murders and stuff like that. But what we're talking about is truly raising up a male child and having that male child deal and react to other males, not just from, see, it takes more thought process, especially as a male, especially as a black male in this time and age, right? It takes more for us to react a certain way, right? Because we're already stamped with certain things too. So for us, we have to especially react certain ways, but not demasculate us. Like we can't emasculate ourselves. We still have to be masculine. We still have to be a black male, but you can't teach that part. You can only teach, well, morals and what's right and wrong. That's cool. But you cannot teach reactions to certain situations, male on male. Women cannot do that. No more than a man can teach a female how to react to another female. Think about it in the reverse, and it'll make a lot more sense.
Yeah, you're right. It does make sense. Um, on the Facebook page, we got 138 comments on the page, and what I saw, the majority of the comments, they were making it seem like a negative thing. That if me saying, "Can a woman raise a boy into a man?" they felt like I was attacking women and saying that they basically failed because 85% of black men in prison come from an absent father or in jail. What do you say about people that look at it as a negative thing because we're discussing this type of conversation, Stanley?
Oh man, I definitely am saddened that they are interpreting the discussion that way. just because you are reading information that you didn't put out. It was already put in the public sphere, and all you're doing is reading the result of it, and then they automatically are accusing you or your show of blame towards someone. Rather, we are looking at the situation together. We're looking at what's on the table together. Just because you spoke, like, it's almost like, I mean, the elephant in the room was already in the room, right? But just because you said it was there, now it's your fault because you mentioned it? Come on now. I mean, we all saw the elephant in the room. So, I mean, the results are out. Whoever decides to say, let's talk about it, why do we get stones thrown at us because we decide to discuss it? Now, I think it's a very important discussion. If we see situations happening, stop looking at it as we're pointing fingers at y'all. No, that's not what's happening. We're just saying this is a decision that were made, and this is the result of it. Now, how are we going to look to change it for the next generation? Now, I want you to keep this in mind. I'm not going to sit here and just say, hey, it's y'all single mother's fault. I'm going to sit there and do that. But rather, this is the information. Now, what you're going to do about it? Now, what you do about it requires whether or not you would receive blame or not. But the milk is spilled. I'm telling you, hey, somebody spilled milk on the ground. I'm not blaming who spilled it, but it's on the ground. It could have been a monkey that went into the house and spilled the milk. We don't know. I ain't blaming nobody. Now, my point is, it's on the ground. What are we going to do about the milk that's on the floor? And that's what's happening right now. So don't blame Sister Christina or the show or for mentioning that there's milk on the floor. Rather, let's see what we're going to do. Let's take rounds and mopping. You know what I mean? Let's do what we got to do to clean this milk up. That's all we're doing right now. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Thank you for that. With that being said, does anyone else, because we're going to close it down, but before we close it down, I want to give everyone an opportunity. Does anyone want to have a comment? They want to share a comment? They have a question for any of these brothers?
Before you go there?
Say that again?
Yeah, before you go there, I want to make a comment on the people that's, a lot of the sisters that got upset that we pointed out that there was a lot of the men that's incarcerated came from single parent home. Look, it's not to blame any of our sisters that it's their fault. But the thing is, and I'll speak for myself, and I'm pretty sure a lot of brothers would agree with me. I got locked up at a young age, you know, and I did a lot of things. And I'm not saying if my father was there that it wouldn't have happened, but I will guarantee you, for myself, I would say 100% it would have helped. It would have helped, definitely, because I was looking in the male figuring how to be a male, how to prove that I'm a man in the wrong areas. And a lot of these girls, that's what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? So the thing is, sisters shouldn't get upset at all, because what we're doing, when we point out things like this, we're trying to help our whole community, all of our people. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to help, not point fingers at you and say, oh, you did something wrong. Because some things, when it's already done, all we can do is fix it. You know, like when somebody like an alcoholic, when they go to that program, first thing they do is say, look, I messed up. You know what I'm saying? In regards, we all probably messed up and had children before we was married, and or we was with a good spouse. You know what I'm saying? So now, after that, what we got to do? We got to do the best we can, and we got to acknowledge that we did something wrong and find solutions to fix it. So right now that we know that all these are going on in single parent homes, so now we should talk about how did it happen, acknowledge it, now find solutions to not get into that and fix it. So none of us should definitely get upset. It may hurt, the truth may hurt, but now let's fix it. Let's help each other. You know what I'm saying? No, we don't have to get upset about it. And I grew up from a single parent home. I love my mom. She did the best she can, but I knew for 100% fact I had a good father in the home that some of the things I wouldn't have done, or I wouldn't have to go through. You know what I'm saying? That's just fact. And I'm not saying, oh man,
You're the matrix.
I'm
You're the
good.
matrix.
Man, I'm not saying that. Yeah, I'm not saying that. But I definitely would help. But you know, all we can do is just try to fix our community. So I'll just leave it at that.
All right. So what we're gonna do now is I don't see any hands raised. I want to thank all the brothers for coming out. Everyone on YouTube, please like, subscribe, and share. This podcast is up and coming. I'm already getting a lot of love and support, and I appreciate it. I want to go to the panel one more time. I want you guys to give us your name, share us some last final words, and we'll start with Kevin, then Stanley, then Ron, and then we'll close the show out because I don't see any hands up. So Stanley, you can take the floor. I mean, Kevin, you can take the floor, and Stanley, and then Ron.
Okay, praise God. First of all, I just want to thank you for inviting me out. It was a really, really good time. I didn't really know what was to really expect from it, but it's the first time I kind of been part of something like that on like this type of forum, I guess. So I thank you so much for that. I think that at the end of the day, because you had myself and Stanley, you had people from different backgrounds who've had different situations on this topic. Like we literally lived through the situation. I think that's a point as a positive to you, Christina, because you're having people on here. You don't know what our backgrounds is until you ask us, right? You don't know, right? But how the Lord works is He gave you people that was raised by a single mother. And those people gave their honest expectations, and they gave their honest experiences on what they see in the house. Like how my brother Ron said. Like, we lived it, and I give my mother a lot of credit. But the thing is, no one should get upset because you're putting this out there for us to learn from. You have male guests on your show that's giving information and giving feedback. And this feedback is what helps correct the issue. So I hope that sisters understand that. Like, you have 3 different brothers on here. None of us knew what we was going to say. We didn't get together and be like, hey, man, where you from? No, we didn't do none of that. And you didn't do it either. You simply just had 3 brothers on the show, and you wanted our opinion. So that alone, you're edifying people by having different people from different backgrounds in different neighborhoods in different states. None of us is from the same state. Me, Ron, or State. We're not from the same area. So we're not the same age. So we experience things differently, right? So I think that this is a plus, and I hope that the sisters take this as something that is edification on the subject. You went out on a limb and you just say, hey, man, come on my platform. You didn't know what we were going to say. So I think that in itself, that in itself shows that, hey, you're just trying to edify sisters. You're trying to edify families, specifically women who are raising male child by themselves. You're giving them edification. This is something this is progression. So I appreciate you having me and allowing me to speak. I hope that anything I've said helped and not hurt. But really, God bless you. And all praise to the Most High for you putting this out here for these single mother sisters. I hope they see that. But that's all I got.
Thank you, brother. All glory to God. You hit it on the head because I didn't even think about that till you said it. I really did reach out to each brother. It was other people as well, and I was like, hey, I want your, because I wanted it raw. I didn't want it to be manipulated, twisted, and turned in any way. I wanted a raw, straight up, okay? And I didn't even know if some of you had your fathers or not. I had no idea. I wanted to hear, did you have your father? Did you not? And if you didn't, what do you think? I really didn't have information on these brothers like that. I just said, hey, I need to hear from some men. I know women, we have a lot of space to say what we feel, what we think. A lot of people welcome us openly. Brothers don't normally have that. If they start making complaints, people look at them as soft or weak or stop complaining, just do it. You know, kind of like just do it, or whichever commercial that is. Men don't have that. And I wanted to give men, and I'm doing this for women. That's the crazy part. I'm not doing it.
Right.
I'm doing it for the men, but I'm really doing it for the women. That's what I'm doing it for. because I want the women to hear what is going on. Do we really need these men? Are they just here like an accessory to just take care of us, or is it something more that we need? Because if we don't like it, about our sons. Because again, almost 80% of black inmates in the prison system in the United States are coming from absent fathers. As a mother, a single mother, you should be shaking in your boots. I'm not saying fear anything, but don't be a fool. If you want the best outcome for your child, of course, you want to pray, give all glory to God. But don't be a fool. God has provided these brothers an opportunity to come on this platform, not only their experiences, but also solutions. They drop some gems. Like, you guys, you're sleeping if you're missing this, because this is something that doesn't happen often. So I want to thank you, Kevin, again for blessing me with your presence on the show. I hope that you come again. You are always welcome.
Praise God.
And looking forward to hearing from you again.
Praise God, sis. You did a great job.
Thank you. All glory to God. Stanley, here you go. Let's hear a closing statement. And if you want to just wrap it up, give us a brief statement on everything that we discussed tonight, and you want to put your information out there, we'll appreciate it.
Most definitely. And once again, Sister Christina, thank you for inviting me to your show. And thank you for, it's an honor to be on the panel with two amazing brothers. Bless them and their families as well. And I want to tell to all the people that are listening, whether you're listening live or whether you're listening on the recording, either way, blessings to you and your family, financially, in health and relationship. Right? So my I guess overall summary and everything here tonight is that we're not dismissing the idea of possibility. There's definitely something that there are exceptions. There are women that are doing amazing jobs as single parents, amazing jobs, and these women are amazing mothers. To society, we love you all. We love you, and we love for those that are even screwing it up and ain't doing it right. We love you too. We love you too, and that's the reason why this information is out there. It's for you as well. It's for those that are doing it right to continue to do it, to continue to do it and teach it. And for those that ain't doing it right, hey, here's some information and you get some guidance to get it right. But at the end of the day, we love you. We love every single one of you. And for the male single fathers that are out there, man, do your thing, brothers, man. We need you. We need you to continue to be you. Be that disciplinarian and raise our boys to be men. We need more men because our society is being emasculated. Unfortunately, our men are becoming more feminine. That's unfortunate, and we're losing it. And the society needs both roles. We need the feminine role and the masculine role together makes a powerful dynamic. We needed both. You know what I mean? So for sure, this show was very vital, very important. These brothers, we all provided some insight, and that women continue do the best you can to raise those single males, those young boys. But at the end of the day, just have in the back of your mind, understand there is an important element that a man can give that boy that a female can't. The same way, like Brother Kevin said, we would understand it as a male raising a daughter. There's something that a female can provide that I just could never understand. The same way we can respect that, we definitely would love to see the equal respect the other way as well. All right? And again, God bless you all. We love you, and Happy New Year. Right? We're going to have a better year. We're going to be optimistic this year. We're going to make it a good year. We're not going to hope for a good year. We're going to make it so we can take charge of our lives, right? And you can search for me. My name is Stanley Sylvain, SSYLVAIN. You can look me up on Facebook, even under Christina's Friends page. You can look me up on Clubhouse and YouTube. Yeah, I'm on YouTube as well. All right, and God bless you all. I already miss you. I hate leaving, but I miss you already. I love you all. Take care now.
Thank you. That's Stanley, you guys. Stanley the Manly. Y'all check him out. Stanley Sylvain. Check him out Facebook, YouTube, and Clubhouse. And this brother, he brings another outlook, great speaker. He brings another outlook to the conversation. That's why I love when he comes on. Again, I appreciate you. I appreciate your perspective. And you are always welcome. Every time you're able to be here, I'm just so blessed and thankful for that. All right, so now we're going to go to Ron. You want to give us a brief statement, wrap up your point of view of the conversation tonight, and want to share any information? We'd love to hear it.
All right, I'm just grateful to share the floor with everybody, these amazing brothers, as well as you, Chris. And I would like to say to everybody that's listening, to the women, we definitely need you. And I'll say you need us as well. We need each other, and together we can raise beautiful boys and girls, and respectable boys and girls, and great people in society. And with that, I'll say peace.
All right. Again, thank you everybody for calling. Thank you everybody for showing up. It will be placed on the YouTube channel, Let's Talk Podcast tonight. Please, everybody, like, share, and subscribe. I appreciate all the love and support. Next week, we're thinking about doing a show on interracial couples. Like, that's what we're thinking about doing a show on, interracial couples. So we'll see how that goes. I'll definitely share the information. Remember, go to Facebook. Let's Talk Podcast on Facebook. Follow the page so you guys can be up to date on everything. I'm also going to start sharing some of our speakers' information on there as well, some of their things that they're putting up, because they have a lot of amazing things to share with the world, and I want to be able to put it out there for them. Again, thank you everybody for coming to the show, and I look forward to seeing you guys again next Sunday, 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Do not miss it, every Sunday. Thank you, guys. You have a wonderful night.